Hey, Paul Walter Hauser. Hey, thank you so much for joining the show today.
Thanks for having me, Jason. Good to be had.
Lots of fun will be had. We are talking The Luckiest Man in America in theaters now. My wife and I watched it, and we were both remarking how fast it moves. Like it ended, and we were like, "Whoa!" Like that was an entertaining ride. So hats off, even though you have your hats on. Before we,
Yeah, man. I
yeah.
I thought the pacing was one of the best parts of the movie. It does move really well, and it doesn't overstay its welcome like some movies do. And yeah, hopefully people. I think film people are going to appreciate like the cinematography and the art direction and everything. And then I think your average moviegoer will love the cast. It's a cast of familiar faces.
Oh, that's so funny you say that because yeah, as a film person, I'm geeking out of like the POV shots of you as the set is spinning around, or the symbolic nature that you've taped over home movies with game show footage. There's a lot of cool geek out stuff. But before we get into any of that, for the regular viewers, give them the premise really quick. Remind them, who Michael Larson was and what the basic setup.
Yeah, no, Michael Larson was it's just sort of a mischievous guy. He became a bit of a grifter and a con man, and he would find ways to make money quickly and easily, and nothing wrong with that. Later in life, it became a bit of an issue, but we're chronicling one of the more honest days work that Michael Larson had, which was he had memorized the five pattern algorithm of how to win the game show Press Your Luck. So he
Yeah.
goes on the show and, of course, wins way more money than anyone's supposed to win or has. And it causes quite a stir with the folks of the show because they are they're in fear that their jobs could be on the line if he
Yeah.
walks away with a certain amount of money. So
Yeah,
it's
no whammy at all for him. He knows how to avoid it, and he keeps
oh
winning.
no, he's very skilled at sidestepping those landmines, those whammies.
And that makes for a fascinating watch because to me it instantly joins. Well, I mean, I don't know how many there are for me to say the Mount Rushmore of game show movies, I'm joking aside, like it instantly joins like Quiz Show is one of my favorite movies, the Redford movie with Turturro and Ray Fiennes. They're given the
Yeah.
answers beforehand, so or the Matthew McFadden before Succession did that miniseries quiz about scamming Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Like it kind of reminds me of those and fits into that, and I think it's a worthy peer of that, if I must say so myself. Were you a fan of
Thank
those,
you.
and how good does it feel to be considered in their company?
It's good. I'm obsessed with Quiz Show. I've seen it
Amazing.
6 or 7 times. It's one of my 10 favorite movies of the 1990s. One of my favorite movies. Period.
Yes, thank you for saying that. Because everyone obviously holds up Pulp Fiction and Shawshank and Gump and the other movies from '94. But
Hmm.
I had a film professor show us Quiz Show in a film class, and we broke down, Redford's direction and stuff. And I was riffing with Hank Azaria about it the other day, and I agree. It is equally as good as those movies, if not better.
I think I might have it memorized. I had it memorized my top 10 movies of the 90s. I think it's Home Alone, Terminator 2, Dazed and Confused, A Few Good Men, Heat, Quiz Show. Uh, I think Toy Story,
Of course.
the documentary American Movie, Shawshank Redemption, and Swingers, maybe. I think
Nice.
that's my
No,
top 10 of the 90s.
that top 10 is so money, and you don't even know it.
I didn't know it.
It's funny that you're mentioning that because we're sidetracking, but like I have like 10 for every year, not just decades, like memorized in my brain. I don't know why, but like that's my Willow Party trick. You say a year, I'm like, oh, this came out. I love it.
Yeah.
I can tell you
Yeah.
that.
So let me ask you this. I was born in 1986. What are your 1986 movies?
I don't know if I can do 10, but I know Platoon won that year, Oliver Stone. But my favorite, I mean, Blue Velvet, David Lynch just died. That was amazing
Mm.
that year. I love Goldblum in The Fly. That was another
Oh, yeah.
amazing 86 movie. Cronenberg. The body horror still, I mean, Substance came out this year, but I still don't think ever as good as the Cronenberg stuff. He was great.
I uh I really love Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I think
Oh,
it's a
of
perfect
course.
movie. I think that's 86. I don't
It's
know.
definitely 86 because Breakfast Club was 85. So that was 86. Yeah. Yeah.
That's right.
But anyway, you and I could go all day because we're movie fans. But yeah, back to the Luckiest Man in America. How did we get on that? Oh yeah, quiz show. Best of the
Yeah.
90s, agreed. And folks, if you're listening to this and you like quiz show, Luckiest Man in America will bring that back to you. So similar to, let's say, Turturro as Herb Stempel or Ray Fiennes as Charles Van Doren, your acting choices, I want to give you props. Like you're doing the darting eyes to show that you've memorized the pattern before you say stop. And you're also squeezing the little, what is it? The little grip, the stress reliever, the grip strengthener. Was that
Yeah.
in the script or was that like a Paul Walter Hauser, like I'm going to bring this prop in?
No, no, that was both of those things were in the screenplay, and they meaning the two writers, I believe Maggie and Samir,
Yeah.
and then Samir being the director, they really wanted us to feel like the audience could see him doing the work that
Yeah.
he had prepared.
Yeah.
Because he's doing it covertly, but the audience gets to, be invited in on it a little bit. And I more than anything, I just try to play it honest and true, like what is true about what he's doing. Because he's already so quirky. It's like you don't have to add much.
Yeah.
He's quite a character, as you can see just from his appearance.
Oh, absolutely. From the ice cream truck on. He's it's awesome. What a
Yeah.
character. And in
All
Everyman,
true,
we
all true, by the way. It's all true that he drove an ice cream truck there. He was an ice cream truck driver, and he was as sort of goofy and yet deceptive and smart as he was. There were some layers to him.
Absolutely. Yeah, and of course, like any movie based on a true story, the script takes some liberties with condensing the family backstory or whatever.
Oh,
But like the main things about him in this main story is absolutely based on true stuff, and that's what makes it so fascinating. Awesome. And then we have to brag on your co-stars really fast because David Strathairn is like the producer or helping, doing the auditions. Gosh, Edward R. Murrow, good night and good luck. Come on, forever. The River Wild, so many great roles. And then Walter Goggins is crushing it in White Lotus season 3, and he's the host in this. So what was it like getting to duke it out, as an actor with legend? I mean, current icons like that.
yeah, I felt very, very blessed. We shot this movie during the actors' strike. It was one of the ones that was
Ah,
negotiated independently before the strike. So we got one of those waivers. We shot it in Bogota, Colombia, in South America, and
mm,
it really, I think it really looks like the CBS location. We really made it look like that place, and I think because folks weren't working at that time, we just had more of our pick of the litter.
yeah,
But I was so, every few days I get a text or a call, and they'd be like, "Hey, so and so signed on," and
yeah.
I'd be like, "Oh, we got David, we got Walt, we got Haley Bennett, we got Maisie Williams, we got Johnny Knoxville." It was a real embarrassment of riches. And by the way, all those people too, just as human beings, are really good people and fun to work with. And it felt like a little theater troupe. It was really cool.
Wow. Yeah. Johnny Knoxville as well. I love it. Also a pro
Sure.
wrestling fan like you, Knoxville is, but we'll get to that maybe at the end because I do want to ask you about John Cena. But back
Sure.
sticking on, so let's paint a little more. I want to ask you. There's so many roles that are layered throughout your career. I know you're born in you're 86, so yeah, like you said. But October 15th, I'm October 16th, so there you go. That's
Oh
awesome.
wow.
I'm 84,
Yeah,
but yeah,
couple
we're
of little
got that
Libra
Libra
babies.
Libra
I don't know
action.
what Libras are. I think they're like creative and emotional or sensitive.
And we're about the scales, I think. It's like trying to keep everything balanced and
That
seeing
sounds
both
right.
sides to
Yeah.
things, I
I
think.
haven't figured that out, but yeah.
Me either. My wife reminds me that it's all scales are bad. But
Yeah.
but yeah, but yeah, so and you just listed all the movies from the 90s you love. So but when did you actually decide to pursue acting? What did I read you dropped out of college and that was when you made the move or what was it?
I think when I was about 10 years old, I fell in love with comedic acting. So by 1996, the movies that were big for me were The Jerk and Billy Madison, Dumb and Dumber, Mrs. Doubtfire,
Oh
Ace
yeah.
Ventura. Like there were just some comedy legends doing golden performances, just these awesome performances. And
You grew up watching We Got No Food, We Got No Jobs, Our Pets' Heads Are
that's
Falling Off.
our pads heads are falling up. Yeah, it was the greatest. My mom used to always quote that line. It would make her laugh so hard. But yeah, no, comedy was my way in, but it wasn't until like 96, 97, I started to watch more grown-up movies and I remember two big ones for me were A Few Good Men and As Good as It Gets.
Oh
And I
yeah,
was like, this Jack Nicholson guy, whoever this guy is, like, this is a whole new thing. I want to watch every Jack Nicholson performance.
exactly.
Um,
As
and
kids,
then
we're like, "Oh,
after,
that's the Joker," but then you go back and you're like, "Oh my God, the roles."
yeah, I did. For me, it went Jack Nicholson, and then I got into Daniel Day-Lewis, and I just blind bought movies like The Boxer and In the Name of the Father,
Yeah,
and then Philip Seymour Hoffman. Those three were kind of my guys, and um, by the early 2000s, like in high school, it was just I told everybody I'm gonna go to like NYU Tisch School of the Arts. I'm
yeah,
gonna be on SNL. I'm
yeah.
gonna write movie scripts. I'm gonna do all these things. So I by the time I was like 14, it was gung ho. I just never looked back. But yeah, I dropped out of college, tried doing college and didn't go well. And
Yeah.
I fell out of that. But I booked my first movie by showing up to be a background actor and got a speaking part. And, my first movie I did was Jennifer Connelly, Ed Harris,
Yeah.
Amy Madigan, Emma Roberts. It was like a real movie. And
Yeah.
I got to move to LA and start auditioning. And I had I don't know, I was just very ambitious, man. I was very ambitious. Like I was advantageous. I didn't take any audition lightly. I treated the scrimmage like the Super Bowl.
I love it. Not bad for a boy from Michigan.
Not bad,
Not
man. It's
bad,
been
man.
a nice run.
Exactly. Awesome. And I guess yeah, probably Home Improvement as a comedy of Detroit set. But I'm just trying to think of what Michigan touchstones might have been. But anyway, uh,
Oh.
uh,
Dun, 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 dun. Oh,
uh, are we gonna get the kids on? Anyway, there's that little background chatter
I
after the
love
first
that.
season. Anyway,
Love that. But by the way, there's something about 1990s TV sitcom themes that are just like
the best.
evergreen. They're beautiful.
Yeah, Fresh Prince to Full House. We all still sing them.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you make the leap from Michigan and you're going into acting. And I think one of the first things I remember seeing him was I, Tonya, as the Tonya Harding's bumbling bodyguard hired to take out Nancy Kerrigan and Sebastian Stan, ex-husband Jeff Galooly, you guys, and Margot Robbie's awesome. Allison Janney. I mean, unbelievable. But
Yeah.
what was it about the script that because it really it took a real material and treated it kind of fast and loose, and I love how like towards 2/3 of the way it cuts back to Janny talk direct address like where the hell's my storyline? But did it leap off the page when you were reading that? Like it must have been like, oh, this is special.
It leapt off the page. I vividly remember reading it and laughed. The first time I read it, I laughed a lot. And
Yeah.
it kind of felt like a Christopher Guest movie where I'm like,
Oh
who
yeah.
are these people? The second time I read it, I kind of was like, oh, this is actually kind of sad. And like
Yeah.
the humor became background, and I really understood the pain and plight of those characters.
Yeah.
These undereducated yet ambitious folks who, secretly they just want to all be loved and want to feel safe. Maybe not Sean Eckhart. I don't know. Sean was on some other shit, as they say. But I knew the script was good, and I was like, man, if we can pull this off, if it's cast right, if the
Yeah.
director gets it, and then I was a fan of Craig Gillespie because of Lars and the Real Girl,
Yeah, of course.
and I'm a lifelong fan of Allison Janney.
Of course.
I'd watch her read the phone book, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then Margot, it was like she was the new kid on the block with Wolf of Wall Street and Suicide Squad. So I was like, wow, this could be a big deal. And then, of course, after the movie came out, people didn't know my name, but they at least knew my face. Or if I said,
Right.
What have you been in? I did I, Tonya. Oh, you're the guy who,
Oh, you're that guy. Yep. That
So
was
it was a
your.
really, really, really helpful moment for
Yeah.
me career-wise where
Yeah.
that the whole world didn't see that movie, but the whole town of Hollywood saw it.
Right. That was your "Oh, you're that guy" movie. But then you go from one Olympic true story to another in Richard Jewell, completely different, tones. And this is Clint Eastwood, 2019. Um,
Yeah.
what fascinated me about that role was most of us in the public, I grew up the same age, roughly as you, but most of us had a false memory that he did that Atlanta Olympic bombing in Summer Games of
Yeah.
'96. Like, and that's a rare. What is it? Is it the Bernstein Bear effect, Mandela effect, whatever? Like, but why do we remember
Yeah.
it wrong? But so what was it like trying for you? Having to almost fight a public perception of us watching it, or remind them, no, 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 he was a dutiful guy who actually was a hero. Like that must be an interesting needle to thread.
It's sad. It's just like it's crazy to think that this person who did something so noble and brave and all that is being vilified for decades. I mean,
Yeah.
it realistically it shortened his life.
Oh
I think
yeah.
he would have lived longer had he not endured all of that. Because his mother talked about how he put on more weight after that incident and
Hmm.
the stress of it all. But I looked at it like this is a victory lap for the Jewell family, a victory lap for truth,
Wow.
and of course, once again, just like I, Tanya, I was surrounded by Sam Rockwell, Kathy Bates, John Hamm, Olivia Wilde, Clint Eastwood. It's like, dude, yeah, I said this to somebody last night. I was at a Laker game. Someone was complimenting my work, and I said to them, I said, you got to understand that I get too much credit sometimes. Like, this is God. Like, I wake up and there's an email offering me an audition or a straight offer on a movie, and it changes your life. And all you got to do is show up and be kind and accountable. And you end up succeeding. And it's like, it's really cool, man. I feel like I've been crazy blessed with good opportunities.
Yeah, I saw an Instagram post that you said along similar lines, I think, where you were like, I'm going to stop chasing the next great role. I'm just going to live my life with purpose and faith, and God will provide. And yeah, that's what you're talking about. I love it. Seem like such a down to earth guy. That's relatable stuff, baby. And that you list Home Alone in your top 10 as opposed to, Jules and Jim or whatever. All great movies, but I'm just saying, there's
Yeah.
something relatable about you, my friend. All right.
Well,
Well,
I think I'm just a regular dude, and guys like
yeah,
you and me, we could reach any height of success. We're always going to be film fanatics. We're always going to
yeah,
be, these loving, nerdy guys who really dig this form,
yeah.
film.
Absolutely. It's the greatest art form ever invented, if you ask me.
Yeah,
Well, I know we're kind of tight on time, so I might have to move a little quicker, but I do
sure,
want to
sure.
ask, what was it like working with, you just were coming off of Clint around that time, working with Clint versus, let's say, Spike Lee and BlackKKlansman and Da Five Bloods. Like, how would you compare their directing styles? Obviously, opposite ends of the political spectrum in their politics or whatever, but like as filmmakers, two of the undeniable, undisputed greatest filmmakers of all time. So how would you compare their styles?
And by the way, I've texted both guys or called them before. They both are fans of each other too,
Of
like
course,
vocal fans,
how could
which
you
I,
not
which I
be?
love. I
That's
love that
amazing. That's
the
amazing.
political stuff doesn't get in the way of them admitting the other is wonderful and they want to talk movies and sit down,
Of course.
which is cool. But
I mean, do the right thing and
Clint,
Unforgiven. I mean, of course you're going to be how do you not admire those, you know?
yeah, yeah, unbelievable. I think they're more similar than they are different. They both allow improvisation. They invite collaboration. They are equal parts finite in their gut instincts, but they're also malleable
Yeah.
and humble. Um, I think they're more alike than different. Craig Gillespie is probably the directing style I like more than anyone I've worked with,
Yeah.
because Craig will expect you to do two safe takes that are very much the script, but by take three through four or five, he'll really let you experiment, and he'll tell you when he likes something, which as an actor, it feels good to know, okay, I'm in the right place. There
Yeah.
was a moment with Spike 5, 6 days into shooting where I pulled him aside. I'll never forget. I pulled him aside and I said, if what I'm doing in this movie feels like I'm in a different movie,
Yeah.
you need to tell me. If you guys are, if I feel like I'm doing a mad TV character, you got to tell me.
Yeah.
And he goes, No, you're doing great, man. Just clapped me on the back and walked away very nonchalant. And I was like, all right, I'm
All
gonna keep
right.
doing it.
I'll trust you.
Yeah.
I love that. And I love to hear that they're fans of each other. That's so great. I know we're up against the clock. I guess before we run, I'll combine these into one question then. Your Apple
Oh,
TV era. I know you won an Emmy for Blackbird, that creepy prison role as the serial killer Larry Holocaust and Taron Egerton. My wife and I binged the crap out of that. That just next play, next. But then you showed your comedy chops in season 2 of the After Party. You're the film noir genre in the Fedora. So I don't know how I'm supposed to combine these into one question. Other than that, it's both Apple. So I guess, yeah, I guess playing both sides of the coin. Apple has allowed you to do the After Party comedy and then the
yeah,
serious, creepy, serious, almost like a Silence of the Lambs
yeah.
character. But yeah, Apple letting you stretch. How's it been?
It's great. It's just nice to know that when Dennis Lehane casts you off your, Zoom audition, or Chris Miller and Phil Lord send you a DM on social media and say, "Hey, we have this part that we kind of wrote for you." Like that's the coolest, man. I have the utmost respect for Dennis and Phil and Chris and creatives like that. So it's awesome. And yeah, hopefully showing one's range will provide opportunities in the future. And with this movie, The Luckiest Man in America, once again, I feel like I get to do a little drama, a little comedy, and tell a cool story.
Absolutely, and forever now, Emmy winning Paul Walter Hauser, with the most down to earth acceptance speeches you'll probably ever hear. Well, maybe Kieran Culkin, but I like when it
I'll
breaks through and you're just a regular guy up there accepting stuff.
Yeah, I'll end on this story, which
Yeah,
is a good one. I saw Jeff Bridges at an award show. It was like the AARP Awards. It's like,
yeah,
awards for old people or something.
yeah.
And they were all kind of, tongue in cheek, making fun of it a little bit. But John Goodman's at a table with Bridges and all these cool people, and I just did a drive-by compliment to Bridges and said hi,
Yeah.
shook his hand. And he goes, "Hey, man, I really like your acceptance speeches. They've been the highlight of this award
Yeah,
season." And I
that's
go, "Oh,
great.
you too." I go, "You too, man. I love your speech where you talk about the I forget what he calls it, but he says something about a boat. He makes a boat analogy, and he
Yeah,
talks about it. And he goes, "Oh no, man." He goes, "That's not the same thing." He goes, "When I'm up there, I'm doing my performance," but he goes, you're the real deal. And I was just like, that was the coolest compliment, to basically
yeah.
have Jeff Bridges, the Lebowski, tell me you're just being yourself up there. And I'm like, that's cool.
Well,
That
you
was
are. You put
awesome.
the Lebowski Walter into Paul Walter Hauser. Is this your
Oh, so
homework, Larry?
Walter's so
You
check.
see what happens when you F a stranger in the
When you F a stranger in the A, Larry.
show me showers. Hey,
Brilliant.
you're amazing. I know you got to leave. I guess what
Oh,
question
we'll
do you
do
want?
we'll do
I'm
this.
interviewing Bischoff in a couple weeks for a WrestleMania preview. What
Oh
question?
wow.
Oh, do you want me to ask him about the Cena heel turn?
Um
I guess I got to relate it to the
okay.
Hogan turn, right, for Bischoff. But
Oh,
yeah,
here we go. Here we go.
yeah.
If Cena did a heel turn that was in step with Hollywood Hulk Hogan,
Hmm.
who on the roster or free agent should be Cena's Hall and Nash?
Oh, I like that. Do you have any thoughts?
Ask him that.
Does Rollins join? Rollins
I
is due for.
haven't
I think Rollins is going to turn. I think Heyman's going to join with Rollins against his two favorite people.
honestly, I think Hall and Nash, their big thing was that they felt like they were from a different company. So
Oh,
to me, it's like if
oh,
Cena grabbed two AEW guys,
uh,
and that
like
would be like, whoa, what's
like an
going on
MJF
here?
or interesting. All right, we got to think on that
Yeah.
one. I'll pose it to Eric.
Pose it
Hey,
to him. He's a good guy.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been on before. He's awesome. I love it. I love your work. If you can't tell, and you just seem like
Thanks,
an
dude.
awesome. I could talk to you all day long.
Well, we'll
Everybody,
we'll we'll do this again. I got like five more movies coming out this year, so let's do it again.
hit me up. But first, everyone, Luckiest Man in America in theaters now. Check it out. Thanks. I appreciate it. Nice meeting you.
Thank you, brother. Good to meet you.
See ya.
Bye.